Accept and ignore, just kicking down all the doors. Guarantee you, boy, if I ask for it, it's gotta be real big. I gotta make it just for my kids and for their kids' kids. That's wealth, years and years. Promise my brother soon as he out and finished his bid, we finna do it bigger than anybody ever did. The odds is real big, jobs that's real big. Satan trying a little, my God is real big. Stayed up on the grind on the cars is real big. I gotta do it big, the only way that I can live. And I promise I'm trying to. Before you count me out, homie, let me remind you, they was blocking the shine. Now I think it's my time to. Counting them dollar signs like lights, they'll blind you. Let me rewind to back when I was broke and I couldn't acquire 2 cents, and now I got 2 rents. They was sleeping on me, homie, must have got too big. Call my phone, I be like, who this? Damn right, hell yeah, I'm brand new. Smell like can too. I'm fresh forever like canned food. Try and tell me what I can't do. I wanna see the world, my vision on Shamu. That mean I got goals that's real big, foes that's real big. Your offer too little, sorry, my soul is real.
Woo! Hello, everybody. Thank y'all for tuning in on this cold San Antonio Saturday, because it's a little chilly. So thank y'all for tuning in. Season 7, episode 2. Of course, got my riders with me tonight. Both of them look like they sleep. One of them look like he grumpy as hell. You, dude, if you see the look on your face, you look a little grumpy. A little bit. So Nika Pinks, I'm glad you got your glasses on so you can.
Yeah, got my glasses on today.
Yeah, both of y'all. We switched up a little bit. DA.
Yo, what it do? What's up?
Why
all these damn lights? Oh shit!
Why your hat look tight?
It is, cause my head's full. All these thoughts.
All right, yeah. So, starting off the show. Hey, everybody! Thank y'all for tuning in. Starting off tonight, I don't see him in, but he may be celebrating his birthday. So we definitely want to send a birthday shout out to Talk with Q. He is one that always supports and shows love and everything on that. So definitely want to tell you happy birthday, Q.
Happy birthday. Yeah.
We gotta sing
happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday. Happy birthday.
All right, let me stop. All right.
I'm sorry.
Oh, I was finna feel it. Like when we get to the breakdown part.
Oh, no, we supposed to hit it like Luke.
What's your number?
Zodiac sign.
Oh, okay. All right. Wrong song then. Next time, let me know. We do it the right way.
Strip club.
Oh, I'm sorry. I wasn't expecting that one, but all right.
Get it.
Okay, I think I see how this going tonight. Yeah. All right. So, coming in tonight, this special guest that we have on tonight is so super duper awesome and dope, and I love her very, very, very much. She has definitely been impactful in my life, especially in this last year. She has definitely helped me through some challenging times, helped me look at some stuff differently, at unlearning to learn the right way, all that other wonderful stuff, and come out some stuff. She got me out here being vulnerable out here in these streets, but y'all didn't hear that because I ain't gonna be vulnerable with y'all. I'm still a G.
Well, all right then. Okay.
Here we go with this shit.
Look here, bro. Don't start none, won't be none. Okay?
All
right. So to introduce, you know how they do it in church, introduce to some, present to others. We have an intuitive coach. She does coaching on trauma and healing. She is definitely all about the betterment of people, and I love her for that. Like, y'all don't even understand. So tonight I'm going to bring my coach because she is my coach. And y'all hear me brag about her damn near on every episode because it be real out here in these streets. So
she working a miracle.
Well, wait a minute. See how she work? See how she working? Because I didn't even cuss. Look at that. Bam. See?
It's working. Okay.
Yeah. But I'm gonna handle you after. I'm gonna get you after. We're gonna get you right after. But introducing Alta Gracia Felix. Hi, Alta. You got your mic is off.
Thank you. That's like the second time. I'm over here blushing. Appreciating the immense amount of love that you give. So thank you for that. I'm excited to be here, of course, again on this topic because healing is so important. So I'll just tell people a little bit about me. I don't even know what to call myself.
Well, I personally consider you all purpose because you cover everything. You cover trauma. You help with healing. You do Reiki, like shamanic stuff. Like you doing everything, and you're constantly growing as times and stuff are coming up. So I call you all purpose.
I love that name. Oh, I love that. I love that. I think, people refer to me as the intuitive trauma coach, as an energy coach, an energy healer, as a shamanic Reiki practitioner. But I think my goal is always just healing and holding space for people to experience the healing that is possible for them, for everyone, really. It's just an individual journey. I like to say that it's an individual journey, but you don't have to take it alone. And I think that's the critical piece, is that so many people try to do it on their own, and you can start, but there's going to come a point where you need other people because other people trigger you. Other people bring things up for you. And the way that I like to view it is when you experience those things, they're opportunities for you to grow, opportunities for you to heal. It is the creator saying, hey, you're now ready to do this work. And I guess that's where I come in, is to help people see that when they don't necessarily see that in those moments. And I'm honored that I've been able to rock out with you this year and support you and witness the greatness of you. So yeah, happy to be here.
Don't make me start crying. That's one of our moments.
I'm try.
But you smiling too hard, Pink. Thank you. So yes, because as growing, and we always hear the new thing, everybody jump on the bandwagon. Even in relationships, people are like, I need them to come heal. And I love your response to that because we've gone down this road. But everybody wants everybody to come healed into the relationship. You want to touch on that?
Yeah. I think the way that I see that is, it's not necessarily realistic because you can only heal up to the level of your awareness. And so as you experience new things, new people, new relationships, new layers of traumas that you thought you healed are going to come up. And so I think what's more important than asking and saying, I need you to come healed, is to have someone who's willing to do the work, because that's the difference, right? You don't want to get into a relationship if you're really not willing to do the work and you just want to come in broken and be accepted as that way, and everyone else has to conform to you. That's uncalled for, right? That's not benefiting anyone. But to expect someone to come in already healed, I think, is just a little unrealistic. It's not fair. We live in a world that creates so much trauma. You have traumas every day. And so it's about having a relationship with someone that creates the sense of safety for you to do the work that you need to do to heal. And then asking yourself, am I willing and capable of holding space for my partner? And am I willing and capable of doing the work that I need to do for myself? Because healing is really about you.
Yeah. Yeah, that part. D say y'all starting off heavy, you see. We're not. It's not, but we are here. Hey, we know what the journey is, and it ain't always pretty. Uh, Dang, y'all starting off with the questions already. What if they just want to be a victim and sympathized with?
Great question. Great question. And I will say that's a step in the process because being a victim is easy. Um, Being in the victim role is easy because then everyone sympathizes with you, things move for you. And so it's okay that that's where you are. And I think the key is to start to bring that up to the surface in a loving way and show them that they have choice. Some people are going to be willing and some people aren't. And then I think it just comes down to you deciding whether you want to be there for that ride or not. Because we can't make people do anything. Even me as a coach, I can't make my clients do anything. And so it's up to them. They have to do the work. And so you can bring things up to them. And I always say in a loving way, because that is so critical, to be able to communicate in a loving way. So yeah, if they just want to be sympathized and that's a person that doesn't want to change or heal or, take control of their life, and you've tried, I would say at that point, it's up to you to decide what do you want for you.
Yeah, I was gonna piggyback. Well, I was gonna let you finish it and then piggyback off of it. That's how toxic relationships begin because one person wants to be the victim and wants somebody to sympathize with them, and when they don't get that, they start throwing temper tantrums.
Mm-hmm. That is absolutely, I agree 1,000% with that.
Wow.
Another way is coming in as the hero and
Ooh.
then converting to the victim. When you start to realize what's happening, they switch over into that mode, and that's quite confusing.
Yep, Captain Saberho. Dun, 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 dun.
For real.
Oh,
Had that big H on your chest. Dun, 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 dun. And the cape
okay.
flapping.
Yeah, it's important to notice, right? Notice all the things. It's noticing what's happening outside and also noticing what's happening within you because the changes are always subtle.
And I'm glad you said that because you said something earlier that I wanted to ask you about. Like you said, we only know what we know. Um, I am a true believer in that. You only know what you know. However, there are four sides to everybody. There's the side that we think we are, the side that everybody else think about you. That one side that kind of gets what is it, the super whatever. Anyway, and then the dark side that don't nobody know about. So if a person does not know their trauma or do not know they've been traumatized, how would they go about gathering that information?
So it's a packed question, and I want to like break it apart. So I'm gonna work backwards because that's the way my brain works. So if they don't realize that they've been traumatized, that's a problem in and of itself. Because I don't think there's one person alive who hasn't experienced trauma. And so it's about trauma. I don't think trauma is quote unquote a bad thing, right? I think trauma is you have big T's, little T's, all T's, and some of them serve as catalysts, right? And so if someone doesn't recognize that they have had trauma, cool. But you realize that they're behaving a certain way. And you're kind of thinking, oh, I think that might be related to trauma. I would just forget talking about the trauma, probe on what's in front of you. Because so many people don't identify themselves as traumatized, but you notice it in their behaviors. You notice it in the way they speak. And so maybe just speaking to what you are seeing and allowing them themselves. Where do you think that comes from? Why do you think you do that? Why do you think you're making that decision? Why do you feel like you're reacting that way? Is it bringing anything else up for you? Do you have memories of that in your childhood? Like I would probe that way, right? Bringing it in that way. All right. And then to the 4 versions of anyone, right? You said it's the way people see you, the way you see yourself, the id, which I'm assuming is the ego, and then the shadow. So I work with that shadow. That is where I like to be, because our truest selves, I believe, lives in that shadow.
Mm-hmm.
That's our truth. And all of the experiences we've had in life that have been hard have created different layers of that shadow. And so when we can go into that in, again, a loving way, meaning we don't need to change those dark pieces of ourselves. What we need to figure out is how to integrate them, right? How to access that versions of ourselves, how to access that highest wisdom that it has to say, right? Because self-sabotage could be a terrible thing in some ways, but in other ways, it could have kept you safe, right? Procrastination could have been the key to your safety. And so how can you demonize that part of yourself and make it evil? Like you can't. And that's why people do this with themselves rather than bringing it in and saying, thank you. Like, thank you for what you did for me. And now I am this person. These are the skills and the abilities that I have now, the experiences that I have now. And now I want to use you in a different way because I don't need you in that way anymore. Right. So how, and that's the integration of the full self. I always say that it's not about, I don't want you to come to me chipper all the time because that's not real. But if you do great, right? If you do great, but life is not, I'm not chipper all the time. And so I want you to understand that when you come into the space to be with me, to work with me, just come. However you show up. And what that starts to do is it starts to show people that they can be loved in all of their shades and all 4 of those sides, right? And that's the integration of the whole. I think the least important is how people see you of the 4 that you broke down.
Yeah.
I think I answered your whole question.
I think so too. I forgot what I asked, but yeah.
Oh my God. What is wrong with you tonight?
Ain't nothing wrong.
Go
It
back.
was a loaded question.
It was. So one of the things I've learned with working with you, because so many people focus on the inner child, not realizing that there's not only an inner child, there's an inner adult. Yeah, that was the interesting moment that we had. I was like, but it made so much sense. So can you explain what that inner adult is?
Mm-hmm. So I'm going to just start by saying that was the first time I witnessed that. Right. And so in the shamanic Reiki that I do readings, I do energetic readings. I can't separate the two. And so while I'm doing the energy work, I see things. And so after the sessions, I usually share what I see with the clients and the emotions and the feelings that were present for me when I witnessed it. And so when I witnessed this inner adult, it was like, you know, you hear the inner child, meaning like the kid, the playful child that didn't get to be free, didn't get to fully express themselves, had to grow up too fast, all of that. But what I saw with the inner adult is so crazy that you brought that up. With the inner adult was folded into, and the inner child was taking place. So she was, I'm not going to say she, I'm sorry. Can I? I don't want to.
Yes,
okay?
you can.
Okay.
They everybody know that I am transparent, especially even
Cool.
on this journey.
I want to honor that.
Yes. So yes, ma'am. You add yes, ma'am, you can.
Okay. So the way it was showing up is showing up in her life as a child. So not speaking up for yourself, not voicing what you needed to be. So the adult version that would voice was actually tucked away. And the child was the one running the show, right? So the child was keeping her safe, right? If I don't speak up, then I don't have to experience these other things that I don't like. If I just put my head down and move forward, then I don't have to deal with these other things I don't like. And so the adult, the warrioress that's inside, right? That woman you step into is there, but she's silenced. And so that was the message that I got from witnessing what I got to see when we did that work together.
Yeah. The Reiki sessions are real. Like I just had my second session even on Friday, and yeah, it was a whole total change up from the first one. But um, they always open up another door to something else to work on. So I definitely love them. Because they've even opened the door for me to get back into writing, get back into reading. Um, so yeah, I actually, these are one of the sessions I actually started to really adore, because it gives me so much knowledge and clarifies a whole lot. Um, and just shows a different side. There's so many angles to it. So yeah, this is one of the ones I actually do love on this journey of the healing. It's been very interesting, and as you mentioned, I'm one of those that stuff is a little different for me as we go through. Even as far as even the inner child versus the inner adult, that is something for me different from me. And even one of the things we discovered as well was when we do the meditation and the visualizations is even different for me. Where most people can see pictures, I see in color. So I was like, oh shit, my shit broke. She explained it. I was like, oh, that broke too. So can you go through and explain the differences between when you're doing meditation and you're seeing where you can visualize picture versus when you're seeing in color?
Mm-hmm. So I love what I do because I learn as I go. I'm very, very open and understanding of spirit. I don't second guess spirit, right? I don't second guess the guidance that comes through. And that's where the insights come in. And so most people can visualize and go on journeys in their mind's eye. But for those that can't, they tend to think that they're broken. And it's like, no, like, there's really no right or wrong way to see things. And so let's just start there and being open to what it is that you see when you do see it. So colors have a lot of meaning. Colors have vibration, their frequency. And so when you assess the color and assess the emotions that you're feeling with that color, you can interpret the message that is being brought. And so when we do visualizations, we're usually going on journeys, but we're also asking questions. And so noticing when I asked this question, which color did you see? What did the colors do? Were they dancing? Were they melting together? Were they separating? All of that is energetic communication. Whether you see pictures or you see colors, it's divinely perfect for you. And that is your language, and you learn that language so that you can integrate that medicine into your life.
Yeah, I love that. So someone asked, what is your demographics of your clientele?
Everything.
I mean, real talk.
Everything. I don't think we answered the question that was up there, so we can go back to that one.
Okay.
But my demographics are everything. I have clients of all shades. I have clients of all ages. I have clients who have experienced everything from childhood abuse and trauma to just intimate partner abuse to just realizing that they've experienced abuse, right? So the demographic is all inclusive, and I'm very grateful for that. Because the diversity that my circle has is part of the medicine, right? It's part of the medicine to see all these people that look so different from one another and have gone through different experiences, but come into this container and truly like give love to one another, period. Like, period. No judgment, no expectation. So I didn't notice the diversity until a client actually was the one that pointed it out to me. She's like, I love how diverse the circle is. And I was like, right. We have like a 60-year-old woman that was in our circle for a while.
Yes.
Had a 20-year-old that was in our circle for a while. Like it's open. And I think that's the point. When I open circle or open the container, my belief is that the creator is always going to bring and call in whoever is meant to be there in that space for the greater good of everyone involved. And I trust that. So if that, I just burnt myself trying to stand my candle up. So if that's 5 people, 10 people, or 20 people, it's all divine.
Yeah. Because I think that's what I love as well with Circle. I'm actually surprised Sonia ain't in the comments tonight because she normally tunes in. But I actually love that about Circle because there is a different demographic. We have, everybody, black, white, whatever that's in Circle. The age is different, the backgrounds, location. There's so many different, but we all come together and we're able to hold space for each other. And a lot of those relationships, even from Circle, come even outside of Circle. So, we hold space for each other, not only in Circle, but outside of Circle. So I love that. I love that connection as well. Like that's just a whole nother level of sisterhood there. So I love that.
And that's a layer of healing in and of itself, right? As women, we have sister wounds.
Yeah.
And so the circle heals that. It heals that as well. Beyond your individual trauma, it heals the collective.
Yeah, definitely. Because I know I loved when the 60-year-old was in there with us because she gave the mother vibe. And she could talk from her experiences and where she knew that she had issues and where she messed up at. And even though she was 60 and I'm in my 40s, I could still relate and I could still understand. And a lot of her stories affected everybody differently, but we could relate at those different stages of things. So I definitely loved what she was in there. Plus she was she was a hoot, or she was a feisty something. Like, yeah, definitely love her. Definitely.
Miss her too. I
Yes.
miss her.
Somebody ghetto internet is back working.
All right, let's answer Dira's question.
Got it. In instances where an individual doesn't realize that healing is needed, how would you approach a situation of that caliber? It was kind of similar to DA's. That Libra energy. That yeah.
Lead with love, and I think example is also critical. So my partner, I don't go to him and be like, you need to heal that trauma. I don't do that to him. But what I do is I trigger him by healing. By doing my own work. Right? By doing my own work, it calls him to do his work. Now, let's say if he wasn't doing that, then that would be a conversation where I would have to bring it up. And then just invite him to open it up and consider it as a possibility. But I don't put pressure on my partner because that's his journey, right? And mine's is mine. And so we have an immensely beautiful friendship. And I think that's at the core of the relationship. So there's an immense amount of respect. And our relationship is healthy. Like we have a healthy relationship. So his trauma isn't spilling over, right? And messing up my life. So it's for him to deal with when he's ready to deal with it and whatever way he's ready to deal with it. So the conversation just becomes, I lead by example and allow him to witness that. I mean, I think back in May, I was in the ringer. In the ringer in May. And it was the universe, God, the creator, my guides, all of them together in cahoots, forcing me to listen to my body in a way that I had never listened to it before. And I had to become defiant. And there were days where I would get off at 5 and I was out the door. And if everyone wasn't in the car with me, I didn't care because I wasn't going where I was going for them. I was going where I was going for me. And what happened is I gave myself permission to do those things. And then everyone else just started going. Everyone else in my house just started following. We went to the trampoline park. I bought myself a ticket. Right. And I'm jumping everywhere. And then my partner decided, you know what? I want to play too. So then, so leading by example, when I'm doing my work, it spills over. And that's the importance of doing your work, is that when you do your work, you're healing more than just you.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Woo, all right.
So, Durante asked, cool, across the board, what is the trend in trauma and what is the common issue?
A disconnection from the self.
Mm.
A disconnection from the self. So,
Explain that, because that probably went over a whole bunch of people's head.
so when you experience pretty much any type of big T trauma and an excessive amount of micro traumas, you start to disconnect from your body because your body doesn't feel safe. So you start to emotionally shut down, you start to mentally shut down, and over time you become numb, you become cold-hearted, all those things start to happen. To another degree, you don't value yourself, you don't prioritize yourself, you don't take care of your needs, not just your physical needs, but your emotional, spiritual, and mental needs. So you are disconnected from yourself. That is common in every client that I've had, is that I'm tired of it. Like, I'm tired of the way my life is. I'm tired of things going how they're going. And it always comes back to, and that's why I do circle, because circle forces you to come back into your body in a loving way. I don't force people to do it. So don't, by all means, it's not a force when they come in. The container is a very safe and open space. But the power in it that I see in having a group of people is you, one, realize I'm not alone. It's not just me. And so it normalizes what you're feeling. And so that is what I would say, that is the trend in trauma, is the disconnection to the self. And that creates all sorts of different issues, right? So I have clients that have issues with intimate relationships, clients that have issues with their children, clients that have issues with family, clients that have issues with their employer, clients that have issues in all different ways. But the common theme is the self. And so all the healing is always bringing the person back into their body.
Yeah, and that's another thing I want to add too. That's where a lot of folks, and if y'all paying attention, that's where a lot of folks have that representative that they present. That's where a lot of that comes from. That not being true to themselves and being trying to protect themselves, I guess, or like you said, they just lost. They don't know who they are, and then once you get to that point, it's like it's very much is needed, needed healing and deep diving and stuff like that.
Yeah, I love that point.
Yeah,
I love that point.
definitely. So we have another question. Hope asks, how do you start healing from a 15-year off and on relationship?
Patron.
You know what?
I'm gonna talk to that, just what you just said, Patron, because I could dig it. And I'm wrong with that answer. I literally was just talking to my daughter about having yourself all riled up and going through the motions and finding whatever that thing is that brings you back. And so if that thing is Patron, have some Patron. So, but on a more in-depth answer, I honestly would need more context to be able to give you a specific, more thorough response, but I will do my best with what I have here. So how do you start healing from a 15-year on and off? I guess start by deciding whether you want it to be on or off, because you have to make a decision. Because you don't want to start to take steps forward towards healing and then have to take steps back. Even though it happens naturally, you don't want it to be these leaps, because that's going to hurt too. Right? Like that's going to make it so that you don't want to keep trying, because why keep trying if you keep ending back here? So I would say the first part is make a decision about whether it's on or whether it's off. And then once you make that decision, you can move towards healing in either one of those categories. Right? There is no right or wrong answer here. It's what is it that you want? And then once you make that choice, you would start to take whatever necessary. Again, I would need more context to know what it is that you're experiencing on either end. But it's always, like I said, always a journey back to the self. I would always start with journaling and or mirror work as a way to reconnect to the self. Okay, she said I cut him off and he keeps calling and calling. I blocked him today. All right, we can go in it because my next question is, how do you feel about that?
Yeah, I'm waiting to hear this myself.
Hey, maybe we need to send a link and have her ass on the show.
I've been trying to get her to come on, even the kids. Auntie and Jada have been trying to tell her she needs to come on the podcast.
She could be a guest tonight.
Yeah.
Tonight.
Yeah, Hope. Let me go and send you that link, ma'am.
Now we need the link to the next circle because I'm like, okay, I want a circle too.
Well, circle is tomorrow.
I'm stuck in a triangle. I want a circle too. Not that kind of triangle, but I need a circle.
Yeah, I'm gonna be opening it up soon. I'm aiming for December, so I'll be opening up a new group.
Yeah, new, because I don't want y'all in my group.
I don't want to be in your circle, ma'am.
Well,
I want my own circle.
Y'all gotta
my loves, they communicated to me that although they tell everybody about it, they don't want nobody in their space. I understand. So, and it was beautiful wisdom and insight for me. So I pivoted my business structure, and now the circle will be by cohort. So I won't be recruiting every month. It'll just open up for people to come in, and then I'm going to close it for a couple of months. So that way I'm only starting a new group every couple of months.
We'll see.
Look, that's Sonya. New group.
Look,
oh, hey, my love.
But Hope says she feels better and sad. But she started her healing.
Good. So hold space for both. We tend to only want to feel good. Allow yourself to feel sad. Allow the feelings, because you're mourning whatever you were hoping for. You're mourning the pieces of you that are gone, right? Because you can't get time back. So you have to allow yourself the space to mourn. But one of the things I love to tell my clients is titration. Titration. Take your time going through your nervous system, adjusting your nervous system, because a lot of people like to do healing when they're already like in base neutral, and then they go down, 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 and then they're like in the depths of despair. So it's a dance between like, all right, I'm neutral, I'm gonna go down, I'm feeling a little sad, okay, let me go do something that makes me really happy. And then, okay, now let me do some more work. It's going to bring me down. I get a little sad. Okay, let me go back up and do something that makes me happy. That allows your nervous system to heal and to be able to fully support you as you're doing the work. And this isn't like catharsis, because that's a whole nother thing. But that's like when you have to cry, you have to let it out. That happens. When that happens, let it do what it do. But it's important to nurture yourself all the way. That's the healing process, is learning to nurture yourself, learning to reconnect to your body, listen to your body. It talks to you, right? It communicates with you. And so learning your body's language, and I mean, even down to food, like when I eat certain foods, I know when my body don't want to eat it. I might want to eat it, but my body doesn't want it. And so learning to honor that, and because you'll feel the difference, like you'll feel the difference in the way your body responds to food.
Like sugar cookies.
Yeah, I mean, I just had, what did I eat? I just ate some chocolate covered pretzels. They were great. My body enjoyed them. My body tells me what liquor I can drink and which liquors I cannot. So I might be able to drink gin, and then all of a sudden I take a sip and I have a migraine. That's my body telling me, put that shit down. I don't want gin. And so I have to now go down the list. Okay, what about rum? What about vodka? And then I wait for the one it tells me yes to. And then I'll go drink it and I'll feel fine, right? And I'll wake up the next day and there's, no headaches, no lingering anything. And it's the relationship that I'm building with my body.
Oh, shoot. My body don't tell me nothing like that. I got to find out the hard way. Headaches, double guts, all kind of stuff.
You got to learn
sugar cookies.
Don't do that because she's on here. You know you was yeah.
Gift treats.
Do I need to tell her about yesterday with your little episode in HEB and them cookies you saw and had a whole meltdown in the store?
Ma'am, that was today in Walmart.
Oh,
Thank you.
well,
Get it
then
out
there
right.
we go.
And they're in there on the table. Thank you.
Oh, well, all right then.
Good.
You.
My God.
Yeah. Try and get me in trouble.
Yeah, just listen to your body. Like it's really there's no right or wrong answer. It's just learning to get in relationship with your body.
Yeah. See, thank you.
Mm.
So somebody asked, how do you heal from mommy issues?
That sounds like a PBS show.
I want to be like, who has any recommendations here? I need to know what type of mommy issues. But there are 5 steps to healing in general.
Step 1.
Huh? Step 1.
Step 1. Get your pen and paper out.
Step 1 is willingness. Are you actually willing to heal? That's the first step, because healing is work. Healing is challenging your beliefs, the stories you've told yourself, right? So that's like one person can go through the same, 4 people can go through the same thing, and you have 4 different stories, right? So why is it that you choose to be stuck on one? Right? How can we shift? How can we separate? How can we open up? How can we assess, like fully look at the whole thing? And so most people don't want to do that. And there's nothing wrong. Again, I'm not saying that there's something wrong with this. It's like there's nothing wrong with whatever you're choosing to do right now. It is your choice. But the first step to really doing the work and healing is to be willing to actually do the work. That's the first step. The second step that I have here is awareness. So after you say, I'm willing to do this work, comes the, oh shit. Is this really true? Like, oh, this is really coming out. Do I really have to give space for this thing here? So then it's that awareness, right? And so then if you find yourself shutting off at awareness, it means you need to go back to willingness so you can bring yourself back to the path, right? Like, you know where you're trying to go. The third step is acceptance. You have to accept the whole story. You can't just accept the piece of the story that makes you feel better about the experience. Or that, you just have to look at the whole picture, and it's, again, part of, I think, the reason why people have a hard time doing that is because somehow if they accept the whole picture, it means that somehow they had fault or blame. And somehow it means that the other person that did them harm is no longer, liable for that experience. And so people refuse to do that. So when I think about my toxic relationships, I used to own, and all of my experiences down to the sexual abuse that I experienced as a child, I only used to tell 95% of the story. I only used to tell the parts about what was done to me and what happened to me. And I refused to accept that, oh yeah, I used to hit my ex too. I used to lash out. I had an anger problem, right? Like, those are the other pieces of the story that I didn't want to tell anyone. And so therefore I kept finding myself in the same thing, because the universe is like, oh, you didn't learn the lesson yet. Well, let's put you through it again. You get it this time. Right. And so when I was able to pause, pull myself away and be objective and accept, 5% was me. When I think about, and this is going to be maybe a little triggering for folks, what I'm about to say next. So please forgive me if it is, and understand that I don't mean any harm by it. I just want to share it because I think it's important, and it's coming up. So if it's coming up, it's because I need to say it. When I thought back to like the child abuse that I experienced as a kid, I used to feel so much shame around it because I physically enjoyed it. And so I didn't know how to tell that whole story without feeling shame until I started to understand and accept that it was a biological response, right? I'm 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 years old. I don't even know what sex is, but the body is going to respond to it the same way. And so I had to release when I accepted that, and then I could release the shame, that I thought I was carrying, that somehow it was my fault because I liked it, right? I didn't know I was experiencing trauma till I learned about it in school, right? And then it was like, oh my God, it's terrible. And so and I carried that until I was 26 years old. So I spent 14 years angry, rebellious, acting out, going through the motions until I was able to say, you know what, this happened, and voiced it. So when I say acceptance, it's accepting the whole story. And it doesn't change that what was done to me was wrong. It doesn't change that they should have known better. They were grown. That's not my fault. Right. And so when I say acceptance of the whole, I just wanted to give you two different examples. One in which I kind of had no control, and one in which I had active control, and I chose to react and behave in the ways that I did, and I contributed to the toxic experiences that I was having. So that was the third one. So we have willingness, awareness, and acceptance. The fourth one, which I kind of went into, is empowerment. By me accepting the whole thing, I started to take back my power. I started to feel like, oh, I have control, because I can shift and I can make different decisions. I can do the work on myself to be able to change the outcome of my experiences. So that started to give me the empowerment to know that I am capable of having a better life. I can do that for myself. And then the fifth one that I have is focus. You have to keep your eyes on the prize, right? Even when you're pulled back, even when you're re-triggered or the new layer of the trauma comes up, the focus, getting back to the focus of staying on task. This is what I want to do. I want to change my life. I want to change the way I've been living. I want this different experience. And so I'm committed to that. And that's my focus. Everything else that pops up is just a step on the path to where I'm headed. And it's all perfect, right? It's all perfect. It's all coming up for a reason.
Yeah. So question, which kind of seems like it kind of tapers off to what the 5 that you gave. Sharetta asked, how important is it to first forgive yourself for the role you may have played in the situation that caused your trauma?
I love that. And I think that is good. A lot of people like to do toxic forgiveness of just like forgive. But you can't really forgive until you've allowed yourself to feel the stuff first. And so I had to let myself feel the stuff, right? Like recognize that, oh, I feel shame and I don't like that feeling, right? Forgive myself for feeling that shame, not for the choices that I made, right? But like the process of forgiveness is a very important one. I talk about it, but I also understand that we can't always forgive in the way that everyone expects people to forgive. And so understanding your level, like, you know, what does forgiveness look like for you? And are you able to move forward, right? So like I like to think about my the ex that I had. I've forgiven him to the point where I could have a meal with him, right? And not feel anything, right? Not feel anger, but that took time. And the way that I forgave him wasn't by saying I forgive you. It was by understanding that he had a role to play in my life and that I had a role to play in his and his children's life. And I accepted that as my truth, right? My role in that relationship wasn't necessarily, it was for me, because when I left, I stepped into a version of me I didn't even know I could, right? But what I left behind were children who had opportunities that they would not have had otherwise. And the sacrifice of the pain and the trauma that I went through, it was a gift for them. And the triumph that I experienced when I left was the gift for myself. So it wasn't an act of, I forgive you for X, Y, and Z and what you did for me. It was, I thank you for the experience that you gave me because look what came from it. Right. So that's my version of forgiveness.
That's what's up. And as I had talked to you before, the men want a group or a circle.
Yes, I've been having a couple guys reach out to me for it. So, because it keeps coming up, and I am.
You got donuts?
Really?
You can buy donuts and bring them with you to circle.
Bet.
Because it is virtual. It's a virtual circle, so we meet on Zoom. But yeah, I think the form that I have that I'll drop in here somewhere before we go is a form where I am going to open up a men's circle, and so the form is going to have an option whether you identify as a woman or male or even as non-binary. Because I think that also deserves its own space, because I don't think you can understand their individual needs, so they should be collectively together. But you can check the box, and then I'm gonna go back, and in December I'm gonna launch the men's circle and the next group for the women, and so I'm really excited to be ending the year on that note. Yeah.
Yay. So Pinks and Hope, y'all can go there to the second circle.
We not doing no tripping, ma'am. We gonna go over there.
Good.
We gonna go over there.
Over there. Over there.
It's
Don't want to get us in y'all circle. You bullies.
We're not bullies. We have a formed union in which we have cultivated together.
That sounds like a game.
It does. They done been initiated by the leader.
And we just don't want to initiate no new friends.
What set y'all claiming?
Healing. Healing 101. Because
I love it.
Thank you. So that's all it is. We still want y'all to get y'all's. We just want y'all to get it over there.
I think it's beautiful, right? I think it's beautiful because the point of this space is for you to have a sacred space to come in and let it all out, right? And let it all out, whatever that is. I mean, we've had circles where tears took up the first 45 minutes, right? And knowing that was so powerful for everyone. Right. And so even though we have a structure, we have this thing, there are times where that's not what is needed in the space.
Was it the snotty nose crying?
They were soul cries.
Man, look it up.
That was a good one.
But they're liberating.
Them be the ones where after you finish, you want to go to sleep.
I think I just stopped crying through a whole session with maybe about 2 months ago.
They serve a purpose, right?
I was like, dang, am I ever gonna make it through a whole session without like crying through the whole thing? Yeah, it took a while, but hey, it's good.
It's beautiful. It's beautiful.
Yeah.
So what is a difficult session? Like for you, like something where you had to, once you got out of there, you were like, ooh, shit.
A session with me.
I had in the almost 2 years that I've been running Circle, I've had one and only one. And it had nothing to do with the people and everything to do with the ritual that I do. So on Circle Day, I don't work. And when I say I don't work, I mean I don't do dishes. I'm not folding clothes. I'm not mommying. Like, I don't work. I go outside. I spend time with the trees. I ground myself in nature. I eat usually soup, so very light food, bright colors. I meditate. I do my oracle spread. I call in my angels, my spirit guides, my ancestors, and the same for everyone who's coming into the container before we even start. And I ask them to hold the energy with me, right? And so then when we go into Circle, we create a second container inside of Circle. And so that container is the feminine energy. I didn't do that one time. One time I decided that I wasn't going to do that, that I was a little tired and I didn't want to go through all the steps. And so I did the Circle. And not only was I sick for 3 days, but everyone who was in Circle that day also felt crappy. they all felt icky for a couple of days. And I didn't know why. And like the third night I was going to bed and I was like, all right, I get it. I'm sorry. I won't do it again. And then the next day I was fine. So I now know that it's really important for me to honor the process of creating that energetic container for the circle. That's the only time it's been a bad circle. I've honestly, outside of that, I've never had an experience in circle that just wasn't great. I've learned to create and leave the space for whatever it calls. I have, like I said, I have every time there's a channeled guidance that comes through because I pick the topic for the circle based on what I'm given. So it's never like pre-planned. I don't know what we're doing in December yet, right? Like I know I want to do a manifesting circle because it's the end of the year, but what is it going to be on? How it's going to flow? What are the journeys? I don't know none of that until they tell me what it's going to be. And so it's just this process. It's a very intentional co-creating process. And so when we go in the circle, whatever happens, I just trust that it's exactly the way it's supposed to be. And I haven't had anyone tell me otherwise.
Nope. And it works out. It'd be like always, it hits. It's like perfect.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And then it's like one you say it, and then everybody was like, man, that's been me. It is always on point. Always on point.
It's always funny to me. Not funny, but a very enjoyable experience. In the end, be like, we needed that. And it's like, yeah, I didn't know that, but they did.
Yeah. It always hits though. Yeah, it always resonates in some way. Because like if you don't hear from us during the week, you kind of hear from me a couple times a week though. But like if you don't hear from all of us during the week in some manner or until circle, it's like, oh well, damn, shit, you too. Well, you oh well, shit. Here we go. Everybody all in the same thing had that same relatable experience. So it works that way.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So yeah, and y'all want to be down with that manifestation, y'all better make sure y'all sign up when she open up.
Yeah, I'm excited for that.
Oh yeah. And I was like so happy when I asked you. He was like, oh, that's already on the list. I was like, yay. Be in sync like that. Yay. So I'm excited about that. Definitely. It is. Yes. And look, that Sonya's co-signing. Yep. Yes.
Okay, so I'm just reading Hope's message. I started talking about it 2 years ago. Yeah. I ain't talking about my mama. I love my mother to death. I really, really do. It took some time to do the work to heal. And in that process, I've realized that she is just doing her best. You know, she was just doing her best.
Yeah.
It's interesting that you said that because I think on one of our shows I said that and everybody went off. Well, I ain't gonna say everybody. Folks in the comments was like, "You, what they said something." Anyway, long story short, like people don't understand like their parents are learning just like we're learning. And it's interesting. And I think that's part of some folks' trauma in dealing with the fact that their parents tried to equip them with the best way they can. But they didn't know all the stuff that's going on that was gonna happen. I shouldn't say going on. That was gonna happen in our life and stuff like that. So my question is how would somebody going through something like dealing with something like that let it go? I guess that's the best way I can say.
Shifting your perspective. You have to be able to see it the way you see it. You have to shift your perspective. And that's moving from the victim, right? Moving out of that victim role. And just taking responsibility for your life. And I mean, you can't change the past. You can't change the past, but we can learn from it. And this is, I'm going to say this again. If it pops into my mind, I'm just going to say it. But I know what I'm about to say, most people don't believe in. A lot of people don't believe in, but I totally believe in it. So I believe in reincarnation. And that was one of the big parts of my healing journey, was the understanding of what that means. And part of that is the decision that we make as souls to come into this life. And when we make those decisions, we are choosing to have certain experiences and experience certain struggles and pains and whatever for the growth, or for our spiritual growth, for the soul's evolution. And so when you can put that hat on and start to look at everything that has happened in your life and the evolution that it has created for you thus far, you start to shift your perspective, right? You start to shift your perspective when you can say, I know this is all happening for me. I might not like the way that it's unfolding. The pain is very real. But if this is happening for me, what am I supposed to learn? Right? I think some children are here to actually mother their parents or father their parents. Some people don't like that. Right? Some of us actually decided that we want, and the parent chose this life in this way because that's the experience they need to have. And if you can look at things that way, and then again, it doesn't change the feelings that come up, because those are real. They serve a purpose. They're a part of this whole process. It's just always coming back to, well, where's the medicine? What am I supposed to learn from this? And so what I take from the trauma that I experienced, my mom loved me. My mom worked really hard. She had, my parents together had a total of 10 kids. And so they worked really hard. I'm number 9. So of course, even though I was thoroughly loved, my parents worked a lot. And so that's how I got to experience some of the things that I went through, because they just weren't there. Now, did she say, I don't want to be there because I want her to experience these things? No, that was not how that went, right? She went to work so she could provide the roof over our head, put food on our table, and put clothes on our back. And it just so happened that created the space for these other things to happen. I'm not going to hate her for that. I'm not, because the hate is poisoning me. I'm not going to hate her for that. My mom put me in jail. Me and one of my brothers got into a fight, and till this day, those words still hurt, but I understand. My brother had smacked the fire out of me. I mean, like, so hard I hit the wall behind me. And back then I had anger issues, so I blacked out. But my blackout isn't like I'm not aware. It's just everything slows down, and I can't stop myself from what's happening, but everything goes slow. And I did go and pick up a knife, and I was going to stab my brother. And if he didn't close that door, the slamming of the door is what woke me up. And then I just dropped the knife, right? And I just walked away like, oh, that would have been bad. But they called the cops. Somebody called the cops. My mom and my sister called the cops. The cops come to the house. The cops asked me what happened. And I tell them, I was like, my brother smacked me. He could see my face is all swollen. And he was like, did you grab a knife? I was like, I did, but I dropped it. And then he's like, there's a cup on the floor that broke. I was like, it broke when I walked past it. I didn't slam it, but I couldn't stop myself. So it just slipped and fell. So I didn't deny anything. And the cop looked at me on the stairs, and he was like, all right. He was like, well, I can clearly see that he hit you, but nobody is vouching for you. And then my mom came to the steps and she yelled, take her, do not take my baby. And that broke my heart. And I was in the jail cell crying my eyes off. Like I couldn't believe, that she was like, she's a drug addict. I used to smoke a lot of weed. My mom's Dominican, so to her, that was a drug addict. Like, she's a drug addict. Take her. Don't take my baby. And I didn't talk to my mom for 2 years after that. For 2 years, I didn't talk to her. I was so angry. And it wasn't until my mid-20s, I was 19 at this time, so maybe about 24, 25, that I was like, you know what? I get it. My brother was a college graduate who came here as a foreigner, who was doing something for himself. why would you not want to save him? Right? Where you have the 19-year-old daughter who dropped out of high school, smokes a lot of weed, doesn't really have a stable job, just lives life by the, by the what is it? Her belt. What do they call it? Shit by her pants, or whatever. Like, I get it. It was still wrong and it still hurt me. But in that moment, I understand her mind. I was able to understand what was happening in her mind. And she chose the child that had the most potential, right? In that moment in time. And I don't hate her for that. I was very angry then, but I've forgiven her for that through the understanding of the purpose of that experience. Me and my mom like this. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was a big story. I've never told that publicly.
Yes, no, I get it, but I'm looking at the point because I know you have helped me look at things in a different way where I didn't got ticked off and I'm like, nope. And you like look at it this way, this, and I'm like, okay, I can see it. I can look at that way. Because I love the way that you teach us how to, even though there's something negative, but we can also pull something positive from it.
Yep.
So I love that because in life, when life be lifing, it's easier to bask in that negative and not see any positive out of a situation. But each thing is a lesson in it.
Yep.
Yeah.
And that's one thing, like when I think about my daughter, all of my kids, but my daughter, because she's the one that popped into my mind, I don't let my kids think I'm perfect.
Woo!
Right. I don't let them think I'm perfect because I think children have a tendency to put us all the way up here, and we can't live up to that. We can't live up to that. All we're doing, I think for me, all I'm doing is trying not to recreate some of the things that my mom, did that created the space for me to have the experiences that I had, right? And so, but I also recognize that I'm going to traumatize my kids. There's literally no way around that. And so I feel like by me normalizing that I'm not perfect, it gives them the space to, one, not try to be perfect themselves, but also for them to be able to look at situations from multiple perspectives. I mean, my kids will look at me like, "You're having a hard day, Mom, right?" I'm like, "Yeah." And they'll just come and rub my head, try to give me a massage or something. Or they'll be like, "Leave her alone. She's not feeling it." Whereas in, other kids maybe might just nag and like pull because I can't possibly be something wrong with my mom. She's perfect. So it's been intentional for me.
That part.
Yeah.
Question: do you have any repeat offenders, meaning someone who keeps doing the same things over and over and over?
Yeah. And there's nothing wrong with it. It's happening. It's all unfolding as they should. Like I said, what did I say? Number 3 was acceptance. So they're just stuck there. Right? They're stuck. They don't want to accept that they're doing the thing over and over and over again. And so the process is one thing that I'm really big at. If you tell me you're going to do something and then you don't do it, I don't want you to not come to me because you didn't do it. Like, I'm not going to shame you or make you feel bad because you didn't do this thing you said you were going to do. And I think that like isolates so many people because then they feel shame and they don't want to come back because they're like, oh, well, so I don't do that. I accept you every time with love, and with awareness and holding space and understanding, because there's going to come a point where you're going to understand and you're going to accept, and then we can move to the next part, right? Then we can move on to the next step. And some people don't want to heal.
Yeah, that part.
Some people are perfectly happy where they're at, and that's where they want to be. And that's okay. Maybe that's not their evolution in this lifetime. Maybe it's 2 lifetimes from now when they start to do their work. But I feel like people that want to actively heal, that's their mission in it. Like that's part of their mission in this lifetime. I feel like they're a more evolved soul.
You even bring out the freaky people tonight. You got people kind of.
I know.
Yeah.
You saw that?
Yeah, I saw that. I'm like, damn.
Well, how am I gonna see
They need
anything?
healing too. They need healing.
What happened?
I'm glad that you said that. I'm definitely glad that you said that
They
because
do.
no, I'm true. But this, you just brought up one of the questions that I was going to ask. So as we all know, people go through this phase of feeling like sex can heal them. So do you believe that there's a such thing as sexual healing? We know there's a song about it, but you know.
Sexual healing. Wow.
Baby. Oh, my bad.
Okay.
Woo-hoo.
Yeah, I do think sex can be healing. I think sex can be healing. I think sex and intimacy are healing tools that we don't explore, especially for women.
Let me write that down.
Ain't that how you broke them 3 roses that you bought?
Ooh. Man,
Your foot don't fit no limb. The only person who said something.
Bro. That
Had the
damn.
roses in the corner smoking a cigarette, talking about this too much. This too much. I can't take this shit. Why don't you?
You know what?
Win your circle. Win your circle. You need to go.
You know what? You got jokes tonight. You just wait.
Oh,
At that.
I got my cheeks.
Just
my cheeks gonna be sore.
just wait, buddy.
They gonna have a circle for themselves. Talk about we tried to say no.
Woo, just wait. Oh, when your time comes, just wait. Just
anyway.
wait.
Funny.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I just want to touch on it. Why it's healing, if that's okay.
Yeah, sure.
So it can be healing because in order to have what I like to call like a spiritual type of sex, there has to be an immense level of safety. And to get to that point of feeling safe, there's healing in that, right? Like that sense of safety, that trust, that vulnerability is part of that process where you can have soul nourishing, clenching sex. But even beyond intercourse, there's intimacy with yourself. So lotioning your body, right, in a ritualistic, slow way is building intimacy.
Don't get excited. That's why
Sherelle Thomas is a love and intimacy coach. And I just dropped her name there for that type of stuff. But intimacy is important. It is one of the I've had a circle on intimacy. That was actually the first circle that I ever did was on intimacy and
we
how
might need to revisit that.
I think I might. I might bring that around maybe in January or something. We'll see what they say. I'll throw it in the ether, see what they say. But it's important. But like I said, it's beyond intercourse. Intimacy is deep. It's learning to love yourself. It's learning to adorn your body, right? Like part of my healing was standing naked in front of a mirror and like learning to love my stretch marks and giving them a different meaning and understanding that there are women who cannot have children that would take every stretch mark on my body and then some just to have that experience. So why am I choosing to look at them as this negative thing? And so being able to have that level of intimacy with myself.
Yeah, that right there. Yeah. Let me drop about 20 before I go to that experience.
No, you have to do it now.
I'll be doing it too. I'll be standing there naked and be scratching. Looking
at la.
You do it for a different reason, sir. Don't jump on the healing.
Hey, I be sitting there singing, I'm too sexy for my shirt. Too sexy, it hurts.
Oh man. That's a good song.
Pineapples. Yeah.
All right then.
Well, yeah.
That's gonna get spicy.
Like I
See,
said,
there's no wrong or right way to heal.
true.
There's no
That is
wrong or
true.
right way. It's
That's
the
not what
journey
Keith
back
Sweat
to the
said.
self.
I'm
Not what you
trying
said.
to tell you.
You know what?
That song popped in my head too when she said that.
Mm-hmm.
We ain't shit.
Y'all ain't.
I don't even know the song. I'm like, what song?
You don't know the song?
What song we
She
talking
gonna
about?
think about it in a little bit. She gonna be like,
He finna
oh,
sing it.
go on and start sing. Go on, sing that part.
I
Real
forgot
quick.
how to word. It's what it say. It's a right and a wrong way to love somebody. The Keith Sweat coming. All right, wait, baby. No.
Oh my goodness.
That's the one.
You want me go
Oh, not that part.
again. My bad.
Oh,
I don't know.
Well,
That
we
was the jam. That bass
we
line
see
was
where
serious.
see where them freaks at tonight.
man.
Yeah,
Into
you gonna be playing Shea Butter Baby and having a moments with yourself since you know it's now okay.
She said it's okay to have.
I know that's what I'm saying.
And then
Since you
in the
know
mirror,
it's
she said it's okay.
It's okay.
Looking like Prince.
I can't.
oh, Lord.
And then, yeah.
Woo! Yeah,
Little.
I know
All
this
right.
went. And why Diara talking about me too? Yeah,
Mhm.
them Libras, them
Hey, I'm
Libras.
gonna have a big ass bucket of shea butter.
You normally do. Got a
Uh-uh.
trophy.
Hold on, Shawty. Don't be telling all my business.
Only person I know that be having a keg of shea butter. I ain't.
Just a hater.
No, it ain't that good.
I love
Really?
shea butter with like orange peel in it. Oh, it's my favorite.
Ooh,
So good.
I'm gonna have to check that out. Yeah, I'm gonna check that out. Okay, yes. Well, oh, question. Can you be on a healing journey and still trying to date?
Yep, I think we answered that earlier. But I'll touch on it. It's yes, as long as you're willing to do the work. That's the key part. Right? Like, my healing journey was while I was with my partner. And it was a beautiful experience, a beautiful, beautiful experience for me and for him. And we're still together to this day because I loved him so much. I didn't want our relationship to be like any of my other relationships. And I had already done enough work to recognize that I was the common denominator in those experiences and that there was a lot of work that I needed to do on myself. And so there were things that he would do that would trigger me to nobody's end. And I would just run upstairs to my room, close the door, and curse him out in private. I let myself feel the things, and then I would come back and I'd be like, all right, I got that out. Now let's get to the facts. I got that out. Right? Because when you're in a heated space, you can't, you're not thinking straight. So I don't want to lash out on him without knowing what I'm lashing out on him for. So then I would go to the room, process it, let myself stomp around, do whatever. And then I would be like, okay, now does this have something to do with him? Or does this have something to do with a past experience? And when it had nothing to do with him, I would just come back downstairs and be like, oh, it had nothing to do with you. I'm working on it. But when it has something to do with him, I would sit him down and say, okay, can we have a conversation? And I'm very mindful of the language that I use. So I wouldn't say or use blaming language or raise my voice or talk to him in a way that wasn't loving. And usually it would go like, hey, when you did this, it made me feel like this. And it made me feel like this because of this. Is it, do you think you can do this moving forward? I think this would be more helpful for me. And being able to have conversation that way and then leaving it right there, like, not carrying it. So it's a responsibility to decide to go into a relationship while you're still doing the work and a commitment to doing your work. I don't think it's worth getting into a relationship if you're not going to do the work.
Definitely. Definitely. Sounds good to me. Yeah, because I know when I'm irritated, I need my moment. I now can say that I can go through and process. Normally, I just want to be left the hell alone. Just leave me alone till I calm down. But now I'm doing the processing part. Like, okay, what was this? Was this the trigger? I had this trigger, blah, blah, blah. Before I go have that little talk, you would like say,
Mm-hmm.
bruh, this what this is this. And I could be rational and calm about it. But let me have my moment to process. I'm gonna process before I address it instead of the blow up part.
Yeah, I can't do it. I couldn't do it. And I still don't. I still use that practice today because you never know. And I've learned from that experience that triggers are healing because the triggers were the things that made me go do the work.
That part.
Right.
Definitely that part.
Yeah.
Yes. Somebody asked, what is shadow work?
So shadow work is, it to summarize it, is working with the side of you that you have suppressed, the angry you, the hurtful you, the you that lashes out. It's all the pieces of ourselves that we said, okay, this piece of me is not acceptable, I'm gonna put you back there, right? They're the hidden sides of you, but I think they're the realist side of you. And so the healing is bringing that. The shadow work is going in there, being with the heaviness of that. But the way that I like to approach it is to approach it with love and respect, for the formation of that, right? So the me that likes to eat cake and stuff her face with sugar when she gets mad is the 5-year-old me that just wants me to feel better, right? And so I might not do that in public because it's, embarrassing. And I'm just like, but that shadow part is there. And so learning to say, come here, come to the front and say, you know what? I want cake today because I want cake today and I'm going to eat cake, and not demonizing that part of me and understanding that she does that because she just wants to make me feel better. Right. And so shadow work is that it's integrating the parts of ourselves back into the whole that we have left behind.
Whew. Shadow work don't be no joke though.
Kind of like shadow boxing. You got sticky moves.
Yeah. Yeah. Hope with them chips that you're not supposed to be eating.
Ain't nothing wrong with chips.
And she's not supposed to eat that.
Why she ain't supposed to eat it?
Because it makes her sick.
Oh, well, okay. That's something.
You got to find alternative chips, right? You can still have chips, maybe kale chips.
Eat chip light.
Chips are really good. You can make them yourself. Sweet potato chips, you can also make those yourself. Beet chips. You can have chips. You just got to change the chips.
I don't know about no beet chips. That don't sound.
Oh my God. I love beets. I love beets in every way you give it to me. It is one of my favorite things to eat. But beet chips are really good. They almost taste like sweet potato. They just have a little bit of a tang in them when you bake them.
Ain't no little bit. Nope.
Oh my God. Who has it? I think Trader Joe's has a bag of chips that's beets, sweet potatoes, and I think either cassava or regular potatoes. But it's sweet potato, beets, and another one.
Yep, and Trader Joe's can keep them chips too.
But okay, I ain't gonna lie. Trader Joe's has a way of making healthy stuff taste good though.
It's good.
I consider those for real, because Trader Joe's, man,
y'all ain't gonna get me. Y'all ain't gonna fool me with that.
No, I'm serious. Trader Joe's
is good.
Yeah, I gotta give it for real.
There's lots of things that I get from there that I really, really like that are healthy. But you were saying here that she said when I'm depressed, she does that, and I totally get that. And it's okay. Like, it's okay that that's how you respond to it. And it's just like, what are the alternatives that you can put in place so that you don't deny yourself something that actually brings you joy? Like, I'm not supposed to eat bread. The gluten makes my bones hurt. I make cheesy bread. I make Brazilian bread instead, which is made from cassava flour, and it gets cheese in it, and they're like these little puffs. And I'll make like a big 48 muffin tin thing of it, and I just keep them in the fridge, and I'll pop them in the microwave when I want some. But it's a way for me to still get what I want, but taking care of myself at the same time. Because I
y'all talk about something else, because y'all making me hungry.
You always hungry.
We always get to this point around this time, honestly.
But yeah, healing is holistic. I mean, food is healing. I think I've said that in our circle.
Yeah.
Like, have a ritualistic meal every day. Whatever meal you don't have to rush through, breakfast, lunch, or dinner, but pick one, and don't use your phone, and actually be with the food and thank the food for what it's doing to your body. Like, there are many ways to heal, but like I said in the beginning, it's always the journey back to the self. And food is a way. We're so disconnected from the food we eat. We just consume it for pleasure, but not understanding that it's actually a nourishing thing. Like, it's something that has given its life so that you can be nourished and live.
Yeah.
Yeah. Water. You can literally take a cup of water. There's a documentary on water that you guys can watch. I think you can find it on YouTube, but if not, I think it's on Amazon. And there was a scientist that took water, city water, and put it like frozen, and then melted it under a microscope. And what they saw is that the city water was all fragmented. It wasn't a beautiful crystal. It was all squared and choppy and like just crazy looking. And then they took that same water and they got a group of kids and they all sent loving energy to the water and like meditated over the water and just did all this positive stuff to the water. And then they froze the water and put it under a microscope, and it had the most beautiful crystal. It created the most beautiful crystal you could see. Right. And so here's the same exact water that changed based on the intention you put behind it. And that's why we pray over our food, right? That's where that whole thing comes from.
Yeah.
Because food is made of water, right? There's water in the food we eat. And so when we pray over our food, we're changing the molecular structure of the water so that it's nourishing to our bodies. And so, like, you shouldn't eat a meal with someone who's angry.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? Because their energy is changing the energy of the food you have in front of you. So healing is a holistic approach. And that's why, like, you need to have multiple avenues. Like, yes, circle is one of them, but maybe a therapist is another one. Maybe an energy healer is another one. Maybe it's a support group. Maybe it's like there's a nutritionist. Like, healing is a holistic thing. And as you start to do the work in one area, you'll start to see what other support you need to continue to holistically heal yourself.
So while you mentioned that, how do you feel that crystals, stones are also a source of helping to heal?
Yeah, I think they're friends. So I think they have the energy that we can borrow to help us on our journey. So I don't see crystals as like, oh, if you have this crystal, it's going to heal this problem. But I see, oh, if you have this crystal, it's going to serve you in this way. So like this quartz crystal amplifies, right? But it also clears energy. It absorbs negative energy and amplifies whatever you want it to amplify. I have one in my boob. I'm going to take it out. This is black tourmaline.
Ooh.
Tourmaline absorbs negative energy. That's all this crystal does, is absorb negative energy. You can put this in the four corners of your house to protect your house. It can create a protection grid. Right. Yeah, I have Unakite here. Unakite amplifies intuition and spiritual channeling. So crystals are friends that we use in whatever we're doing. It's like a partnership. Then we have to cleanse them and we have to re-energize them.
Definitely. Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah, I gotta stay covered. You know where I work at. Yeah, gotta stay covered. But yeah, it's definitely helped. it helps. And I alternate mine according. I'm always have a protection stone of some type on. But I also may do amethyst, depending if my anxiety or if I just feel that need for stillness and calm. If I'm not feeling that, and then I feel that woke up on Tuesday, been up all night, and feeling that cute, I might throw on that rose quartz. So it just differs. But I have a nice little arsenal of crystals, and I do alternate them. So yeah,
they're very much alive, right? They give off frequency, and we are energetic beings. So there's an exchange, right? So when you use certain crystals, they're gonna affect your energy in a certain kind of way. And so I think they're beautiful. I have tons. I have like at least 100 crystals in my house, and so I just trust that whichever one is calling me is the one I need. I picked these out because they were the ones that were calling me.
Exactly. Yeah, I didn't realize how much I have until I started going through my stuff, and I was like, ooh, and that's where I found the raw rose quartz, and I was like, I'm gonna put that in a necklace. So
that's another one too: raw crystals versus smooth crystals, all that stuff.
Yes. So definitely. Hope, you need which one? Because I say she said I need one of the ones I guess you showed, because I know I made her 2 necklaces a couple of weeks ago. She's one of the ones I made a necklace for in the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, these are great crystals that I have here. That I have a bunch, like I said, and one that I really love besides the black tourmaline is selenite. Selenite is a beautiful crystal, and you can use it to clear your energy. Right?
Yep.
You can take a shower and clear your energy, folks.
So that really works, huh? God damn it. Hercules.
You said what? You said what?
I said, so that crystal stuff really works. And I said, God damn it, Hercules slobbed on me.
Well, you know.
It does.
Yes.
It does. And the other part that I'm going to say here, because it popped again into my head, is belief is the critical ingredient. Sort of like, if you believe you can, then you will. And if you believe you can't, then you won't. It's the same thing with energy work. If you go into it believing that it's not going to work, then you're telling it, don't work. But if you go into it, like when you buy a crystal, you're supposed to hold it and tell it what you want it, like what you need it for. Or ask it, how am I supposed to use you? But you build a relationship with them over time. But belief is critical. Belief is critical in everything we do in life.
Yeah. Definitely. Yeah. Definitely that. And she said the black one.
Yeah, black tourmaline. It's a must. Yeah, black tourmaline is a great crystal to do a crystal grid in your house with. So like if you feel like your house has negative energy, you can clean all that stuff out and then place black tourmaline in the 4 corners in your home or wherever you want, as many as you want, but at least in 4 corners. And that'll create a grid around your house.
Yeah.
I also do it energetically. Create like energetic bubbles around my whole house and push it out.
That's good stuff. We was talking about that kind of stuff the other day, and using black salt.
Salt is beautiful.
Yeah.
Salt does so much.
It does.
When I move into a house, I sprinkle salt all over the house and then sweep the salt out from the farthest point of the home out the front door. So it can take it. So salt absorbs negative energy. And so you can also put it in bowls. Like if you have carpet, you can put a bowl in the corner of your room, fill it up with salt, leave it there overnight, take it out the next day, and throw it out. It's important to throw it out.
Yeah, that part. Not in the trash, in the house. Throw it out. Like outside. Yeah. Yeah.
Outside. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. So that part. How do you get your voice when you are used to not having
I love this question. Ah, there are like 40 different ways to do this. But there's only one way for you. So I'm going to say whatever comes to my mind, right? So one of them is finding a support group where you start to practice using your voice. Because we don't use our voice out of fear of XYZ, whatever that is. Usually it's around safety. And so learning to use your voice in an environment where you see that you are still loved and accepted and embraced in your voice and in the truth of your voice. Doing a Reiki session, whether it's a shamanic Reiki session or a traditional Reiki session, where we channel universal energy through your chakras to start to clear the way, because there might be an energetic block there. The other thing is the energetic block might not even be in your throat. It might be somewhere else, right? And there's just a disconnect between the throat and another area of your energetic body. Shadow work would be another way, where you just sit with that and try to understand why you have the fear. Why don't you speak? What do you think that comes from? When was the last time you used your voice? What is the first memory you have where you maybe used your voice and it turned out not so great? Finding, I like to call it the current. You want to look for the current and when that current was created. And then you'll see how it's been playing out your entire life since then. Because once you find the current, you can see the pattern and then you can cut it. So those are the ones that popped up for me. I hope one of them was helpful.
cool business? All righty. Y'all got anything else? You sure been quiet tonight, ma'am.
Feeling my soul like I got work to do. You know, we discussed this already, so it's just like, okay, I know, confirmation, get your shit together. I got it. I've been saying it. Okay. So yeah, I'm taking it all in, like, all right. Message.
And December is around the corner.
That's how it comes. It's message. This was kind of just like one of those confirmation things. I was expecting to be on here crying and just so I put my glasses on to hold my tears up right here so they won't fall this way. They'll kind of run out the sides, but I'm good. So wasn't expecting it. Like I said, it was confirmation. This was needed, processing, and yeah. Good. Sometimes you just gotta be quiet and listen. Take it in.
Message,
just like that. Yeah,
there's medicine in that for sure.
Yes.
Yeah, you're crying circle.
Yeah, it's almost inevitable.
I'm gonna just give me I'm gonna tell Amazon to just bring me a whole bunch of tissue. I'm gonna get a big industrial and just.
But the power of that, right? Because men, women, all of us, especially in the minority community, are taught not to cry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right? And tears, my coach said this to me, and I was like, I could not have heard that in any better way. She was like, tears are an expression of what the voice can't say. And I was like, yes, give me more. Give me more. And you see, like, I love that I said that, because that's to amplify that even I have coaches, right? I have coaches, I have mentors, I have spiritual people that I reach out to. I constantly take classes and trainings and adding things to my arsenal, right? For me, it's for me because I want to serve people. But in every training that I've ever been through, I have to do the work for myself. And so when I show up with it, it's not something I read in a book and then just turn around and like, no, it's something I read in a book and also had to do the work and show up and integrate it so that I could understand it and so that I could do the layers of healing that are being called to me. Like the next path that I'm thinking about is herbalism now, right? Because I'm hearing the plant talking to me. I hear it. This is going to sound woo and crazy, but I have a little tree that talks to me. And that was new. I've never had that experience before. And it doesn't talk in words, it talks in energy. And so I had to do some deep meditation work. And then one day it just so happens that I touched this baby leaf and I'm like, I get this rush of excitement that comes over me. And I'm like, and I was so happy all of a sudden. And I'm like, where is this coming from? And so I let go of it and it was gone. And I go touch another leaf and I don't feel anything. And then I go back to this baby leaf and here comes the same whoosh, joy, excitement, like a little kid that just got candy for the first time. But it was so beautiful because all this time, one of my mentors says she actually hears trees speak in words, right? I know someone else who actually physically sees them as energy. And I'm like, well, why aren't they talking to me? Waiting for them to talk to me in the way that they talk to everybody else. But that's not the language that I understand. And so that was my like an accidental experience from me doing certain, I did like a 2-day, 3-hour each day meditation practice. And then that next day was when I had that experience. And so doing the work is the process. And so, yeah, I do what I do to help others. But what I'm doing is holding energetic space. I'm holding a healing space that allows you to activate your own healing. Like you're doing the work. You do the work. I hold the space for you to do the work.
Yeah, because you will have work in circle. You will. So go on and get your pens, pencils. Go on and get you a nice journal. Go on and get a spiral notebook with about 3 to 5 sections in it. Because you're gonna use it. Like I'm just gonna tell y'all gonna have work. It's good work, but it's work.
Mm-hmm. And there's space. Like you have space there. And like the circle is a circle, but I'm not the only one. Right. I'm not. It's just like there isn't just one therapist for the whole world. Right? You come, experience it, and decide if this is the space for you. And I'm okay with all of it. I'm okay with all of it. So healing, like I said at the beginning, it's an individual journey, but you don't got to do that ish alone.
True that. That need to be on the shirt. You ain't got to do this ish alone.
I'm gonna write that down.
Yeah. Yes. Kevin says I use candles as my healthy healing. Love candles.
I love that.
I use cigars.
Shamans use tobacco, and many of them don't even experience lung cancer because they use it in a medicinal way.
See, I'm telling folks they don't listen.
And
they don't listen to me.
My thing that I would say to you is make sure that the tobacco, the cigars that you're getting, like maybe go for the handmade, probably not made in America.
Yeah, I get the Nicaragua. I can't even say it. Countries that I can't pronounce.
Nicaragua.
Yeah. See, my tongue don't roll like that. I got a fat tongue.
Yeah, no, like I can go down many rabbit holes here. But healing is an art, it's a practice, it's a commitment, it's a journey. It doesn't have to be all boohoo and tears, but it is a part of it. There's joy, there's activation, there's clearing, and then there's love. You learn how to love unconditionally when you start to heal. You start to, because loving unconditionally is for the other person, but it's for you. It's for you.
Definitely. Definitely. Okay, I got one more question because you mentioned it and I was like, oh, wait a minute. What is that? What is mirror work?
Oh. So it's the act of standing in front of the mirror and talking to yourself and admiring yourself and appreciating yourself and actually looking into your own eyes. I had an experience last year where I fell in love with my ears. It was the funniest thing ever. But like I truly looked at my ears and was like, oh, look how pretty they are. I looked my ears in a whole new way. The mirror work is that. It's most people don't stand in front of a mirror and actually look at themselves in a loving way. We usually look for all the things we don't like. Right. And so the way that I started practicing mirror work is I would usually take a beautiful hot shower. light candles in my room, get my lotion out, play some soft music, and just stand in front of the damn mirror and admire myself. And I started with the dark so I could just admire my shape. And then I would, put a little more light, and that's when I moved on to the stretch marks, right? And put on a little more light, and then I moved to everything else. And so it's the act of, in essence, falling in love with yourself again, just like you did when you were a kid.
Yeah. Yeah. And now that you brought that up too, what is the benefits of music when you're healing?
Music is frequency. Again, it's energy. And so, oof, boy, we have a lot of toxic music today. A lot of music that is not meant for healing and create distortions in our frequency. And it's all a part of the plan. Right? It's all a part of the plan. And so we have to consciously pay attention to what we're listening to and have a better understanding of the way our body is responding to what we're listening to. And then what are the words that they're using? Because they sneak a lot of shit in there. And our mind absorbs more subconsciously than it does consciously. And so we might be absorbing things that we really don't really want in our bodies and in our systems. But music is healing because music can help you cry when you need to cry. Music can help you access joy when you need to access joy. Music is a beautiful thing. It's a thing of the gods, right? It's a thing of the gods. But and because of that, the world we live in understands that. And so that's why they don't fund J. Cole, right? So they fund the rappers that are still talking about murder, exploitation of women, abuse of drugs. Mushrooms are such an amazing plant. I fucking love mushrooms. But people
haven't crossed that road to mushrooms.
People abuse them. It's a medicinal plant, right? And so people take it for fun, and they're talking about it in these music videos, and they're pumping these pills and all these other. They're really promoting manufactured drugs, right? That were initially created from natural things, right? But they give us this fake shit, like we can't go outside and find the real thing that already exists in nature. I don't want to go down that rabbit hole. I don't want to go down that road, but yeah, like we have to be mindful of that. Like I tell my kids all the time, I don't mind certain music. I just tell them no, they can't listen to it. But other songs, I always explain to them, this is entertainment. This is not life. Do not take this in as a way of being. And so I was really happy when my son was telling me about, I think his name was Juice WRLD. And he was listening to his song, and he was like, he predicted his death. And I was like, oh, what do you mean? He's like, well, in this song, he talks about overdosing because he took too much medicine. He was taking way too much medicine. And so he kind of knew what he was doing was wrong and that it was going to kill him. And look, he died. He predicted his death. And I was like, I'm okay with you listening to music with that perspective. I'm okay with you not just taking it in as a way of being, but actually analyzing the information that you're hearing to make a conscious assessment of the situation. And so, but I've been pumping that into their heads since they're like 4 or 5 years old, right? Like, this is entertainment. This is entertainment. Do not live like this. This is not life. These people, right? Like, pumping that into their brains. So yeah.
See, every time you say something, you make me ask another question. So, of course, as you said, people are using mushrooms for different things, especially as psychedelics. So, do you think that can psychedelics be used for healing?
Yep, I 1,000% believe that. Not only mushrooms, but mushrooms, psilocybin, right? Ayahuasca is a healing plant. You have, I think, marijuana is medicinal when used correctly. Right. Then you have LSD. LSD was healing people, and the government shut that shit down. Okay? We don't
using LSD for nightmares. It was LSD, ecstasy, and other stuff for nightmares, PTSD.
Healing PTSD. anxiety. But that drug, not only does it heal you, but it brings all of these plants, if you use them correctly, it brings you into relationship with the earth. It brings you into understanding that we're not separate, right? That we're all connected. That how I treat the world is how I'm treating myself. The abuse I put on the planet is the abuse I'm experiencing on myself. And they don't want us to understand that God lives inside of us. God isn't at the church in the altar, right? Waiting. God is energy. God flows through everyone. As long as we're open to the frequency of God, he's here. He or she is here. I don't even know God's gender. I feel like that's a whole thing in and of itself. I think God doesn't have a gender. Or is both masculine and feminine. If you even look at a lot of the ancient scriptures beyond the Bible, but just other scriptures of other religions, all these things that they have found, there's always a balance between the feminine energy and the masculine energy as the source. But then religion came into play, blah, 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 blah. All that became masculine, patriarchy, and then the matriarchy got put away. But that's changing now. And I think that's why we see all the changes that we see. And that's why the healing is important altogether, because men need to reconnect to the feminine and women need to reconnect to their own feminine and the masculine, right? Like we have to reconnect with both sides. But yeah, psychedelics in all forms, when used respectfully and correctly, are absolute ways to heal trauma.
I'm laughing because my phone is going off because I'm getting side text messages and they're like, I love her.
Thank you. I
received it. I done got that a couple of times this week. Like, I love her energy. She's amazing. So yeah, I got all that this week. I'm like, yeah, I be wanting to be selfish, like she's all mine, but I know everybody else needs to get on this wave and get their healing and everything. So I guess I'll be nice and share.
Okay, I didn't see this question. Does healing have to do with frequency and vibrations? Absolutely. That's why I said earlier that when we're healing, we need to be mindful of not just going down, but also cultivating joy and going down. So like I went to Dominican Republic because my aunt passed away in September, and I had to fight my family because they wanted me to grieve their way. And I had to tell them I don't grieve and process grief that way. So I'm very cognizant of how I approach it. And my approach is to cultivate joy. Right? I get to be happy and sad at the same time, because otherwise you just go down there and then you're just there. Like, like this is a process. It should be a process. So I went swimming every single day. Every single day I went swimming. And they were just like, you're making it seem like you came here to party. I was like, if people think I spent $1,000 and took time off from work to come over here to party, that's not my problem. Like, that's not even my problem, because the person I came here for is my aunt who passed away, and her children who know me. If they don't know that, then that's not my problem. That's for them to figure out. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm going to do me. And I felt so good to tell them that, because the old me would have been like, all right, I'll pack my bags and go do whatever you guys are saying I need to do. I'm like, fuck that shit. I love y'all. This is the way I need to go through this process. And so here I am, honoring my aunt, loving my aunt, reminiscing in my aunt, and yet still able to have joy, still able to laugh. And then I gave 6 of my cousins permission to go swimming with me, right? Who were too afraid to go to the water because they didn't want to get judged, right? And so opening the door that way. So yeah, healing is absolutely frequency and vibration. And that's why you can use crystals. That's why you use music. Sound healing is another form of healing, right? Your voice, singing, talking is a form of healing. You don't got to sound good, but you can do it.
Woo, you know that. DA definitely know that one.
Sometimes you just got to squall, just let it out.
Man, I used to go into the woods and scream sometimes because that's what I needed to do.
So that see, nah, hell no. You had me.
Oh, it's so beautiful to go out
I'm
into
talking about if I'm
nature.
standing on the outside and hit somebody's screen.
Oh,
Nah.
I know, right? Healing for you, traumatic for somebody else. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
Did y'all hear that? Did y'all hear that? Yeah, that like
woo,
it ain't even
boy.
gonna be no. Did y'all hear that? Pack your shit. No.
Man, in May, I would go to this creek and sit in the water and cry for an hour or 2 hours sometimes. And I'm like, I know people was looking at me like, this girl coming here every day. She come every day. She crying in this water.
Like, what you crying for, baby? What you crying for?
But that's what I needed to do. And so that's what I did. That's what my body said do. And that's what the hell I did. And I got so much medicine from that experience. Yeah.
So we're gonna go ahead and get ready to close out. But before we do, and give people awareness and a heads up, what will be your current prices for a circle?
So Circle is $97 a month, and there's a 3-month minimum commitment. Again, back to that focus and that commitment, because you can come to Circle one time and it's going to be amazing and you're going to enjoy it and you're going to leave. But the impact comes with the commitment of showing up for yourself, of carving out that time every single month to come to Circle, to do the work, to feel the experience. And so there is that minimum 3 month, but I honestly, most people stay for a lot longer because it just evolves around what we need at any given moment. Yeah.
So is the new group gonna get tea and transitions too?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Tea and transitions is a permanent thing. So we would meet once a month for the healing circle. And then 2 weeks later, we meet for what I call tea and transition. So it's like a midpoint. You did all this work 2 weeks ago. Where are you now? What's coming up for you? What do you need to process or talk about? Sometimes I have questions that come up, and then we journal on those questions or have discussion on those questions. But it's a free space. So whereas in the circle itself tends to be a little structured, tea and transition is like an open space for people to just come and build even deeper relationships is what I have found tea and transition does for us. Yeah.
Are those still going to be, are the second one's going to be held on Sundays too? Or are you switching days?
I think I'm just going to do it on Sundays as well. I haven't decided on that yet. It would either be Saturday or Sunday. And I just love Sunday, but maybe I will do a Saturday because it's a lot of energy to do circle. And so I don't want to do one and then be drained for the other one. I think it would be best for me to do them on 2 separate days. So yeah, it likely will be on a Saturday. That's what I'm feeling in my body right now. So the new cohort will be on Saturdays. Usually do them in the morning, but I think it'll be in the evening. So maybe like 7 o'clock Eastern. Those are the numbers. Yeah. So we'll play with it. Okay. The key is that it stays consistent, right? So we get the schedule and then it's predictable. And so you can actually carve that out for the whole 3 months and know that this day, this time is for me, which is something that I've consistently heard everyone say. It's like, this is my time.
Yes. Sundays is my self-care day when I don't do a damn thing and don't feel bad about it. Circle is the only thing that I do, but that's part of my self-care and tea and transition. So also included with that package, with that 97, we're going to tell the rest of that. So, you know, they get that.
So there are visualizations, right? So I'm recording the visualizations that come in there. I also offer you a monthly oracle reading. So if you're stuck, something's coming up, you want some guidance, you can get that. If you sign up for 6 months right then and there, then I offer you private one-on-one coaching as a one-time session that you could use at any point throughout that time. Or you could also get it as a Reiki session. So like if you wanted to do a shamanic Reiki session, you could get that. I think both are powerful and it really just depends on what it is that you need. So the shamanic Reiki, like I said earlier, I can't separate the reading from the healing. And so you get both an energetic healing and then the reading that comes through. But you'll see stuff yourself. It really opens you up.
Yeah, I had a whole IMAX movie yesterday.
Damn.
Yeah, it was just like scene.
Mhm.
It was a
And
lot.
Can I say something to it? Because it sounds foreign. Shamanic Reiki sounds foreign. And it is not. We call it the laying of hands.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And so it's just a more focused, specialized version of it. And the reason there's the shamanic aspect of it is that I work with the elements as well. So I'll call in, like, if there's a block in your chest, like, I'm going to, all right, like, what element do I need to clear that? Sometimes it's fire, sometimes it's water, sometimes it's a tornado, right? So it's bringing in the elements of the earth and the world we live in to participate in the healing that's going on for you.
Yeah. Yes, Chiquita, it is. It's amazing. So yes, I love it. Love those sessions. I definitely do. So definitely look out. I'll be working with Alta on that to get y'all out the information if needed. But y'all follow her. She's on Facebook. She's on IG. She's on TikToking now. So
I'm trying.
So definitely follow. I'll post hers. I can also post her stuff, but she can announce where she can be found on those also. But yeah, definitely follow so y'all can know when she's starting those up, so y'all can get signed up. Start the new year off on a good note, because I'm trying to manifest some stuff. Me and my besties had a whole manifestation session last night on 11/11 together. So yeah, we did that. Yeah, we 3 peas in the pod held it down. So because there's some stuff we want for 2023.
Yeah.
You gotta claim it.
Claiming it, and it got my name on it. 2023.
Yes, it does.
Okay, I'm gonna say this.
Amazing.
I'm gonna say this because it came up that you can't heal what you don't reveal. It just came up in my mind. I'm gonna say that.
Yeah.
That's a
And you told me that. Yep, you definitely told me that.
I do. It just popped up. I'm saying it. That's my last parting words.
Yep.
Talking about, sent you the link to the Google form where people can sign up if they're interested, and then I'll send them information.
Right.
But yeah, that's part of the healing, which I touched on earlier, the accepting of the whole story. You have to get it out.
Gotta talk about it to heal from it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that part.
I saw Kevin's message too. Absolutely, there are women that got too much masculinity, and they got that for a reason. Some women are naturally more masculine, and that's okay. But masculinity over being overly masculine usually comes from a survival need, from not feeling protected and feeling safe. So yeah.
Hello. Message. Hello.
And so as a man, understanding that, recognizing that when you see that in your partner, that's what's going on, or that's what may be going on. Truth with a lowercase t.
Yeah. And when you're able to step into that feminine, baby. Woo. Oh, I'm sorry, my bad.
Yeah,
yeah, my bad. Yeah.
You see what I got to deal with all the time?
I love it. I love
that
it.
sentence always makes my soul itch, because I be wanting to just be like,
intentions, you say?
No, but when some women got too much masculinity,
oh,
my spirit be ready to call out.
That's a trigger. What is
it be ready to, because I'm like, baby, listen, let me tell you and take you down this lane.
So let's look at that then. Let's talk about that.
That's another show. We healing today.
If we
go into this, it's gonna terminate everything we just did, and we are in spirits, and we are lifted, and we're protected, and we're healing, and it's beautiful.
And I'm gonna say it's coming up because that's part of the healing for you.
So wow.
Itchy.
Don't lay them birds down.
We gonna talk about that on another
I'm
show.
over here like crack it open, baby. Let's
Wow.
go.
Bring Kevin on. And I'm
Everybody, if everybody wants Shanika to come with it, raise your hand.
Wow.
do that.
Come on, she just said it's a trigger for you.
I might want to take that to my circle.
You might want to take that to your circle, but open it up. So my thing that I'm going to tell you is write on that. Like literally grab your journal when you're done and be like, this mother sucker said this, and this brought this feeling out of me, and this is what I want to say, and go down that rabbit hole, and then go back and read it tomorrow.
I will.
Or record yourself, even if you don't want to write it. Record yourself, and then go back and watch it tomorrow or in a day or two, because you'll watch it.
Yeah. Go back and watch it and be like, I did that.
It ain't even about that. No judgment. No judgment allowed. That is rule number 1. No judgment. But what you'll look for is, what am I really trying to say?
Mm-hmm.
What am I really saying here? Because these words are words, but what's the underlying thing that's going on there? What is this reminding me of? Why do I feel like I have to respond this way?
Oh, I can't wait till y'all.
I got work to do tonight already. Look at that. I got my first assignment.
Look at God.
Dear Kevin, you got me fucked up. No,
you can start it just like that.
And here is why.
Well,
listen.
Kevin know I love him.
I loved my partner, but I would go in the room. Who the hell you think you are? And then I would come down and be like, baby, I ain't got nothing to do with you. I'm working. I'm gonna work through it.
Yeah, that's right there. See, I'll be trying to let that process before I go.
You deserve it. You deserve to be free from whatever those things are, right? But you deserve to be free. We all deserve to be free. We all deserve to feel whole, happy, and just happy with our life. It doesn't have to be perfect, but it can be intentional, and it can be not from the past, right? So like when we are unhealed, we make decisions based on the past. And when you start to heal, you start to make decisions based on the future. Right?
Definitely.
Because you deserve that other thing you want. Those people are right.
Yeah, that right there. Yeah, I highly agree with that.
The brain is a history book.
Yeah, that we've definitely discovered that in this between our session and Reiki. So yes, it definitely is. Definitely is. Yeah. Cool business. I'm good. Yeah. Did you see the message I left you in private chat? I want to see if you felt like that.
No, let me see. Yeah. Let me go see who wants to come. Let me see.
Y'all ready?
Man, I don't even know what we're doing. I'm just along for the ride.
Did you see the private chat message I put in private chat?
Oh.
Now look at both of y'all squinted and looked at the same time. I wish y'all could see your face.
I love this one here. So I'm gonna do just a collective.
Ooh, my ears are ringing.
Oh, they dirty.
Ooh, I saw that.
Hey, why me and Shanika got the same look on her face? Like, what happened? We missed it.
Me No, Pinks know what happened. You may not know, but Pinks know what happened.
Well, tell me shit. Don't leave me in the dark.
She's doing the cards, and cards jumped out.
Okay, what that mean?
It's usually something there within the cards when they come out that way.
Oh, when they jump out like that? So when I'm playing spades and it happen?
Oh Lord, no, get your co-host, ma'am.
I can't do nothing
I'm
about
saying,
that.
is that a good hand, bad hand, what?
Oh my God.
That laugh though.
Uh-oh.
All right, so
Yeah, you laughed a
like
little too
40
hard
of
right
them, like 40 of them popped out. So I left the last one, and I put the rest back in. Because I'm not reading 40 cards. So
there. Yeah, great, exactly.
so I pulled 3, and the one that popped out is the broken arrow.
Uh-oh. What that mean?
This card represents broken arrow. Embrace the energy of peace.
Embrace the energy of what?
Of peace.
Oh yeah, I need that.
So let me see what the book says a little
I
bit.
need the broken Uzi. That's what I need.
Broken arrow. Lord.
Oh,
The
yeah.
hood episode.
I need extreme peace.
You sound like you need a cleansing.
Man.
So it's let go of the need to defend yourself and prepare to offer peace because you are safe.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Damn.
The next one that came up was the wise one.
That's me. Whoop, there it is. Come on, talk to me.
And that one is grow within your current situation.
Nah, you might want to put that one back. Let's try it again.
It says knuckle down, be reliable, and be committed. Be open to the wisdom and the insight from your elders. The wise one is based on something that the younger generation is often lacking: commitment and reliability. It can be very easy to get bored or overwhelmed, but you have to persevere. The next one is the she-wolf.
That ain't me.
And that one is unleash the wild within. What were we talking about? That's what I'm saying. Okay. Let your wild side up and out and unleash your talents and your desires. You're being rewilded and guided to reconnect with your rebellious heart, your shadow. The part of you that likes to break the boundaries and go beyond them completely. Right? Let the wolf energy within help you track down what direction you want to go in. I always love to say that those things that come up for us as desires and all those other, like the little nuances of life that we push away, which is something that I'm actually being called to do in Circle this tomorrow, is what are the pieces of ourselves that we have told ourselves we can no longer have.
That's what we doing tomorrow.
Yeah. That's what's coming up. So this card coming here is beautiful because there are so many things that we say, oh, you know, what for whatever reason, time, age, experience, health, for whatever we've told ourselves we can't have that thing anymore. And so what is it that we are denying ourselves? And then the last card is the Air Guardian. And the Air Guardian says, shift your perception.
Which card is who? Or is that for everybody?
I just did it. I just asked them to give me a collective message that people need to hear.
Ooh.
Yeah. And so this last card is change the way you think, and you will change your whole reality. It's an opportunity to learn about your way of thinking, and you're being guided to recognize that not all you see is exactly the way you see it. We just talked about this. Sometimes the mind can play games, and sometimes our perceptions can be wrong. And if you're being challenged or feel that there's a lack of clarity and direction in your life at the moment, there's a good chance the way you're thinking or what you're focusing on has a lot to do with that reality. You're being guided to open your eyes and your mind and go beyond any limits you have set for yourself, and recognize that the way you see the world is how you will experience the world. So opportunities are moving in your direction, but they will only open up for you if you are ready to do the internal work to support them.
Message.
Message.
Because she just went halfway, hit some parts already that came up in my Reiki. Number 3 was like part of my Reiki yesterday. That's why I was like, the wild woman.
So everybody don't have rakes.
What?
No.
You said Reiki race. I'm gonna pull one from this one because this deck pulled me. I'm just gonna pull one.
That's the one that fell?
Nah, the one I just read fell. The card that popped out was the broken. There it goes.
Broken arrow.
I said I'm gonna read one, but they just gave me one too many. So I'm gonna just put you down, and I'm only gonna read one. So you guys have to tell me which one is the one that has the most important message because time.
Well, I thought she was about to start beatboxing.
You need help.
Okay.
Is that number 2?
3.
3. Okay.
But number 2 is hot too. Number 3 is north, right? And it says solitude. So this one is called shamanic medicine, this deck, which I love. I love all my decks. But the north represents solitude, and it says, let's see. And the north represents recuperation, self-reflection, and readjustment. Associated with the element of the earth in the season of winter, north is about lessons that can test physical and emotional boundaries and expose the primal self. Going north can be a major turning point as much is gained from first-hand experience and achieving something alone without the influence of others. You have come so far, please don't give up. There is a light at the end of the tunnel, and all good things come to those who wait. A time of great blessings that may seem disguised right now. You are on the right path.
I felt that energy from the last 2 cards.
Mm-hmm.
The energy I told you about yesterday, I feel that.
In there?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I'm waiting to feel my energy. I got my eyes closed.
I told them I was only reading one, so that's it. Thank you.
DA, that's gas. That ain't. Yeah, you don't do that part.
What you want?
Yeah. All righty. So,
you talking?
y'all need Pink's outro.
Me? Outro? This was an honor. Thank you all for allowing me to come, for letting me be my crazy, beautiful, amazing, weirdo, God created self. I hope that there was something beautiful and healing in this for you, those that are here, have been with us, and whoever watches the replay, that you're here for a reason, and that you find your path, find your medicine, and that you're open to integrating that. So for those that were interested in the circle, I'm excited to talk to you about that and to hopefully see you in that next container that I open. But yeah, I'm happy. It was fun to be here and talk about my things. So thank you.
I love it. Yeah. Somebody said, what does the north represent? Go through that.
So the card said that the north represents the winter season, and so winter usually is inner work. So it's sort of like everything in the earth, right? So when it's winter time, the leaves are dying, the roots are growing under the trees, under the ground. Everything is happening inside, in the shadows, in the darkness within. And so when we think of winter, we're thinking of doing the inner work, so that when the springtime comes, we can begin to spread that, right? To flourish in that energy and to start to cultivate what it is that we want.
Didn't we talk about this last night, the 3 of us, me, you, and D? When we were talking about, you said you didn't like autumn, the fall, and the time of year going down into, you like spring, but he broke it down on why we got to go through. Yeah, we just talked about it.
I said what I said.
Okay, Miss Sophia.
For real.
Oh, thank you. Hope.
Yeah. So, DA, you want to do your outro?
Sure.
Fix it, Jesus. Any day now.
That's it. That's my
He
outro.
nodded like that's it.
You know what?
That's it.
Pinks, you got your outro, man?
I don't have an outro. I think it was left off on amazing energy, the card pull, like that was it. Confirmation. So for me, there's nothing left. She already put the bow on it and everything, like boom, what you gonna do with it? So what y'all gonna do?
That's that song. I can give it to you, but what you gonna do with it?
What you gonna do?
Yeah, that part.
Yeah.
Definitely. So, of course, y'all, I know y'all get sick of me when I talk about Alta, but I don't care. No. So, like I said, going into the new year for change, for growth, for healing. You never know how much your trauma and the unhealed you holds you back and keeps you stagnant, makes you feel unworthy, undeserving of things. And I'm saying that because that is me. That is why I am in therapy right now. And she is definitely helping me with that. So I'm just telling you man, get your shit. That's all I can tell you. Get your shit. Get on this journey and let's get it, because there is greatness for us. We are here for a purpose. We have a reason for being here. 2023, I'm looking at all great things. Even to all that is attached to me, I am looking for all great things next year for everybody attached, because I see it, I feel it. So just get on the bandwagon. It is what it is. We are better, we are stronger together than we are apart. So on that note, of course, I thank you, Alta. You know, I love you. You have a place in my heart always, always, always. And I talk about and brag about because for me, you are the best. And anybody attached to me, I want them to have the best. And to me, that is what you are. So I appreciate you more than you know, most definitely.
Oh my God.
So that's payback from earlier. Oh man, y'all just, hey, I when y'all say it to me, I take it to her. She's opening up the door. Y'all gotta walk through it. So hey, like I said, let's get it. It is what it is. Come outside, inside, however you want to holler it, do vice versa. The difference to what you already do. So let's get it. So as always, I thank y'all for tuning in and supporting. We definitely wouldn't be here without y'all. Because man, hey, season 7, didn't think we'd be here, but we are, and we pushing forward. So definitely go, like I said, check out Alta. I'll post her links, pages also on the main page and everything. Matter of fact, she's even tagged already was tagged in the stuff. If y'all follow me on TikTok, IG, or on the Facebook page, I'd already tagged her name and everything on there. So y'all can click that. Or like I said, I'll post the links to her so y'all can get access and reach out to her. And so y'all don't miss when she opens the door to the other groups. But real talk, let's get it. And we will see y'all next week. Much love as always. Have a blessed and safe week. And let that healing begin. And we out.